Hey gang, it's your boy Platt. Today I asked the question, Malta Goya, will it ferment? Let's go. Alright guys, we got another fun video here, something a little different. For those of you that may not be familiar with the series, Will It Ferment? Basically I just take different things off the grocery store shelves or just things you wouldn't think of and see if we can make alcohol out of them. Most of the time it's successful. We've had one or two failures. But today I got something kind of interesting, something I've actually been wanting to work with for a while. It's called Malta Goya. It is a soft drink that is apparently popular in the Caribbean, South America, even parts of Africa. You can generally find this in the international section of your grocery store. I found this at a Walmart. I think they sell them at most Walmarts. So it is a fairly popular drink. What it is a malt beverage. And when I use the term malt, I mean malted barley. And, you know, in the past, we've used malted barley to make liquid malt extract to sweeten things, dried malt extracts. Back 50, 60 years ago, there were shakes and there were malt that would add malt powder. So malt has been around, been used as a sweetener for a long time. Real quick, whenever we do things like this, we always check the ingredients. That tells you if there's any preservatives or something we need to watch out for. Let's check out our ingredients. Start off with first we have water, no problem. High fructose corn syrup, no problem. As far as brewing goes or fermentation, no problem. Regular corn syrup, still no problem. Pale malt, that's right, pale malt like they use in brewing. Caramel malt, same thing as used in brewing. A little caramel color. We fermented soft drinks or sodas before. That's not an issue. We do have something called calcium sulfate. Now, that sounds kind of bad, and in a sense it kind of is, because it is a major component of plaster of Paris. However, it's also allowed and used in foods. It helps coagulate, which is kind of funny in a in a beverage. Maybe it's just for additional body. Who knows? Phosphoric acid, we've ran into that before. I think like when we ferment sports drinks, stuff like that, that's not an issue. And then lastly, salt and hops. That's right, this has hops in it. So this has barley malt and hops. We have basically a non-alcoholic beer, but with corn, or corn syrup. So it's a non-alcoholic corn barley beer, basically is what we have, again, with the hops added to it. This drink, like I said, is popular in the Caribbean and South America. They will kind of treat it a little like root beer. They will add a scoop of ice cream into it and turn it into a float. They will also add sweetened condensed milk to it, which sounds almost too sweet, but that's the treat they have. So it looks like we have something to work with. And with that being said, let's see if Malta Goya will ferment. All right, guys, first thing I'm going to do is we're going to do a little hydrometer reading. I want to know how much sugar's in there, A, just for curiosity's sake, and B, what I bought at the store is a 6-pack, but it's a 6-pack of 7-ounce bottles, so we only have 42 ounces. All my fermenters, even though I brew small, are all a gallon or so, and you don't want a ton of headspace. So if I got enough sugar in here, I may dilute this down with some water. It'll still ferment just fine, but just for my fermentation point or process, I was not going to buy an entire case of this stuff to fill up my fermenter. So I want to do a gravity reading. Also, I just want to give it a taste, see what this tastes like. So first, let's pour out a little sample. That pours like a dark stout. I mean, color-wise, nice khaki little foam, plenty of bubbles. Oh my gosh. That smells like when I first started homebrewing. If you've ever done like the Mr. Beer kits or the Brew Demon kits that come with the little can of hopped malt extract, that's exactly what that smells like. Like they almost should sell this in the Mr. Beer kits. That is kind of giving me flashbacks to when I first started brewing. Let's go ahead and go in for the taste. That is sweet, but not over the top. Even though it was probably carbonated, it's got a little flat soda taste to it. You get a little bit of the caramel. It's a thicker body, and that malt comes in. You know, even a flat soda, you're just tasting basically corn syrup and caramel coloring. This is less of the corn, more of the malt, and some caramel coloring, but not terrible. I don't know if I would. I might need to try this over ice, maybe, because you don't drink, soft drinks a lot over ice, but not terrible. All right, with that being said, let's go ahead and get a hydrometer reading. I probably should not have poured it like that. We got a little more foam, this a little more carbonated than I thought. So what we'll do is we'll let this settle, and we'll come back in a minute, and I'll do the proper hydrometer reading. All right, guys, sorry about that. Got a little aggressive with the pour, but the foam has settled down. So let's go ahead and do a gravity reading. Oh, geez. Oh, geez. That is coming in at almost 1070. Doing some quick mental math, if we were to produce a beer just with that, we would be in the mid to high sevens ABV wise, almost 8%. So this would make a pretty big beer right here. Actually, while I was waiting for the to settle, I kind of thought maybe for a future project, and you folks let me know if you'd be interested in this. I almost want to take an old school Mr. Beer kit now, or just the can of the malt extract, and see if I can reverse engineer this. If I don't ferment it, just water it down to the point where I get a similar gravity, and now I kind of know I'm in the 1070 range. Water the extract, just heat it up enough to incorporate the extract, get it down to about the same gravity reading, and then I have one of those SodaStream machines, force carbonate it, and see if I can basically take a Mr. Beer hopped malt extract kit and make Malta Goya. That might be another trip with that. So that being said, I'm not going to dilute it. I'm actually going to keep it like this. We'll have lots of head space in the fermenter, and that would be an issue if I'm worried about making a proper beer. But I just want to see if this ferments and what it comes out. So what we're going to do is I've got my 1 gallon fermenter sanitized, clean, ready to go. I'm just going to dump this all there. And I'm going to utilize a Safale USO 5 yeast. It's kind of the standard yeast I've used throughout this, just because it's something I've utilized before. I know it's real good. It's worked with different things, juices and soft drinks and stuff. But it being a beer yeast will be absolutely perfect for this. So let me go ahead and get this in. I'll pitch the yeast, and we'll come back in a week to do a hydrometer reading and see what we got. All right, guys, so it's been a week. We've had our Malta Goya in the fermenter. You might could tell here, there's a little line. We had, plenty of foaming bubbles. The homebrewing term's called Kreuzen. It looks like we still have somewhat of an active fermentation. I got bubbles inside. My airlock is moving a little bit. So we could probably let this ferment out a little bit longer, but a week we should know if we have alcohol or not. And the way we do that is by doing a hydrometer test. So let's do a hydrometer reading. Let's see where we come out on this. We come out at around 1020, 1022. Let me check. Our original gravity was 1068. Doing some quick math. That's 6%, a little over 6% ABV for 1 week. That is not too bad. Most of your light beers are low 4s. Most of your generic ales, pale ale, stuff like that, are in the 5s. We're kind of in the Bock range. So this is actually, a pretty good ABV beer. Like I said, we could probably let this go another week or so and get into the 7s easily. But as far as answering the question, will it ferment? The answer is definitely yes, and I thought it would, to be honest. Now, here's where the real question is. how does it taste? And we will definitely give that a try. All right, this, of course, we didn't try the carbon water, so I don't have any carbonation. Color-wise, this is like a really deep, dark porter, a dark Bock, Doppelbock style of beers. A little more brown than black, but it is pretty opaque. It's a you don't pick up the hops or anything on the nose. It's real sweet, dense. It's that malt syrup, but it also kind of reminds me of like the deeper kind of wine notes to it, like a real big red wine or those kind of tannins and stuff. I get a little of that on the nose. It does have a little wine nose to it. Let's go ahead and dive in. That is remarkably light. You see the color, and you're expecting a real dense body and real dense flavor and dark notes. That is not it. The body's fairly light. You do get some of the darker, like caramel malt notes, but there's a sweetness to this thing, and I'm figuring it's the corn syrup. This does remind me, though, a lot of some of the beers that you get in kits. The Mr. Beer kit, the Brew Demon kits that use cans of hop malt extract. There is this kind of a wine quality to those. I'm going to guess partly because the corn syrup in this one, when you ferment out sugars or when you ferment out maltose, which is the sugar derived from malted barley, they're on a little different flavor profile. And I think the corn syrup kind of took over the malt that's in this. Yeah, that being said, it was all right. I think carbonation would help it a little bit. It's not great, but it's not bad either. I definitely want to play with this and this concept because, again, there's malt syrups, malt beverages out there. If you guys know any of the malt beverages, maybe you can tell me one to try. Well, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe down below. Also, please like the video because it lets YouTube know we're putting out good content. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or ideas for videos, please leave me in the comment section, or you can always contact me on the Twitter page. Till next time, bottoms up.